Baby, don't you wanna go? Come on. Baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, sweet home Chicago. 224 446. Come on, baby, now get your business fixed. Come on. Honey, don't you...
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson, and welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Thank you, Marty. Marty, how you doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a production of Sonny Hersh and myself. Dial us up on the World Wide Web at www.ntnm.org. CAPS, we're real big on CAPS. Visit your local CAPS meeting. We've been emphasizing the whole time that you need to meet your police force face to face. Forget the message boards. People get mean. People get inaccurate. You need to meet your police officers face to face. In West Rogers Park, and the northern part of Edgewater, go to www.caps24.org. Throughout the rest of the city to find out where your CAPS meeting is, call 311. Jewish Chicago is out today, as in today. So if you want to know who I endorse and where I stand in all the races, first of all, Jewish Chicago is going to be available free at all sorts of various Jewish stores throughout Jewish neighborhoods. It's going to be available at any place they're serving corned beef that sounds like it's even half Jewish. We'll be over there. Not to mention, more than a couple hundred places, if not more than that. We'll see how many places we find. You can also find us at certain Chinese restaurants that are popular in Jewish neighborhoods. Well, it's not a joke. I got to tell you, what is it, Cow on Pratt and Cicero, whatever it is? I get rid of almost 300 papers there every issue.
It reminds me of a story years ago when...
and by the way, he needs no introduction, as Joe Chuckshire would say.
It reminds me years ago when the former mayor of New York came in, and Howie Carroll and I met him on Devon Avenue, and it happened to be in front of a Chinese restaurant. He says, now I know I'm in a Jewish neighborhood.
Well, you know what? When I worked at the Sentinel, Jack Fishbein always said that the formula for a successful, the one restaurant that cannot fail is a Chinese restaurant in a Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah.
By the way, we're also available at kosher Chinese restaurants, too. So, if Mitsuyan was still around, you could have got us there. The one that's in the Jewel, Teen Chow, we're there. And if somebody else wants to open up a kosher Chinese restaurant, you can find it's all free. And by the way, let me also tell everybody that this coming Sunday, in other words, this is Thursday, October 23rd, or Friday, October 24th, if you're watching the 2:30 edition. Sunday, October 26th, 10:30 a.m., live on CanTV 19 in Chicago. We are doing a live pre-election show. I usually host the show with Jim Nally. Unfortunately, Jim's going to be in Boston for a family wedding, so we're trying to figure out who our co-host is going to be. But join us. We're going to have all sorts of elected officials, people that will be running for high public office. I do know some of the people already. But, stick around. We're talking about high-ranking county officials, people from the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. We might even have a congressperson or two. And
I'm not running for office. Maybe I'll co-host with you.
Well, we can talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
We could talk about that. That might be very interesting. You'd certainly know what questions to ask certain people. But would you ask them? That's the question.
Oh, listen, I've been both a Democrat and a Republican. I get along with everybody.
That's true. You know what? Speaking of everybody, before we get into the regular stuff, I saw the Reader was going chapter 11.
Really?
Yeah, and now the whole publishing company. So that's what I saw. It seems like their publishing company is having a problem. It gets thinner and thinner every week. So first of all, I hate to say it, but as much as I disagree with the guy sometimes, the guy really misses Ben Jarofsky.
I didn't know that he had left.
No, he hasn't left. But I'm saying if the Reader leaves, the newspapers are trimming down, and the Sun-Times is trimming down, the Tribune's trimming down. There aren't exactly a world of jobs available.
I don't like the new Tribune. I just don't like it. It's like a trash paper, quite frankly. Mm. I like the old Tribune better.
I like the old Tribune better, too, and there's a lot less to read. As a matter of fact, I feel a little bad because I mean, I'm going to take the L afterwards and go over to Chicago Access and edit the shows we're doing today. And before, it's like I could read lots of paper on the L and still have left over for the next morning. Not going to happen this time. I'm going to be able to finish it up.
Well, you can look at the pictures.
Yeah. So in terms of, Ben's interesting. You've talked before about, Ben talks about TIFs a lot, and there's been a lot of stuff about.
I think he's wrong, but that's beside the point. I think he's been influenced by, what's that state rep's name?
What neighborhood?
Lakeview.
Oh, you're talking about, the woman?
No, the one that became a ward committeeman in the 32nd ward.
You're asking, I don't know who all the ward committeemen are, but okay.
He's a state rep, too.
But anyway, so he's been influencing people. Is there a bigger story? I mean, we talked about the budget. The city's, $420 million in arrears for the budget this year. Of course, your suggestion,
now it's going to be 320. We're going to get $100 million out of Midway.
Oh, so $100 million from Midway will go in that direction.
Yes.
But they're also talking about cutbacks we're talking police and sanitation, is what the mayor seems to be saying.
Mostly out of sanitation.
So it's going to be one-person trucks now, or?
No, I don't think it'll be one-person trucks, but it may be two-person trucks.
How many are on the truck now?
3.
Oh, so 3 to 2. That'd be a heavy. That would be a very heavy drop in the in what's going on.
And maybe it may, instead of pickups every week, you maybe have pickups every week and a half, or less, or every 2 weeks.
Ooh, every 2 weeks would not be a good thing, I don't think.
No, it would not be a good thing.
That would be a very bad thing. So, and they're talking about leaving the police positions open right now?
Open positions would not be filled, which means, which is not a good situation.
Well, you've got
either.
13,000 people in the force, and let's say the average term of service is, 30, 35 years. You're talking about losing 400 officers a year.
Or more.
Or more, yeah.
And I think we have something like almost 300 vacant positions right now. Now, 300 vacant positions is not a good situation. Here we're talking about adding officers, and they want to take away 300 vacant positions.
No, not to mention that at the CAPS meetings, by the way, they're not authorizing overtime anymore. So we used to have officers from all 3 shifts. Now we just have from the shift that's on duty at the time. And we used to get extra TAC officers and all that, too.
And how about when they take officers away for special events during the summertime? It's not a good situation.
No, it's not a good situation at all. And that was one of the things. I have to say that despite the problems, I thought the city, I'm not a big expert on who the superintendent is and what matters, but I thought things were going so nicely under Superintendent Klein. I really did. I mean, it's unfortunate he got stuck in that situation.
I do not think it's a question of the superintendent. I think it's a question of the times, and I look. We're brought. You're going on the air 3 weeks after we were recording this, or 2 weeks.
That's true. So the situation can change.
And the day we're recording this, the market went down 800 points.
Yeah.
The largest drop in the market.
By the way, 2 weeks after, just for the
2
record.
weeks after. Yeah. That's the largest drop ever.
That's where the market finished today, 800?
800 down.
Wow.
Largest ever drop in the market.
And in theory, and we're filming on a Monday, and this is in theory right after they ratified the plan, where you would think that after ratifying the bailout, the market would have gone up today.
Yeah. Well.
So, I mean, does the bailout... I like watching the McLaughlin Group. I always tape it, and you can catch it on the web if you don't watch it. Mort Zuckerman has been warning about this for quite a while. He's the publisher of U.S. News and World Report and other papers in New York. He says he's liquefied most of his position about a year ago.
Yes.
But he said the bailout was necessary and it had to be done regardless of, even though he didn't like the bailout and he didn't like some of the people being bailed out, he said things would be worse if he didn't bail things out.
We're still not going to recover for many years to come. This is going to be a situation which will take many years from which we'll recover. I read about companies buying out other companies for billions of dollars, and I'm wondering, are we talking real money, or are we talking funny money? So I don't know what we're talking about. In any event,
so I guess we should switch. Well, go ahead.
This is just a product of the times, and as much as I'm unhappy over it, the fact remains that we will just have to ride it out.
I'm going to have to live with slimmer government. If the whole economy is going down, the economy is going down.
Let's talk about local news, because I got some really good news locally.
We got a hot scoop right off the press. If I still was smoking, I'd have a lighter and I'd be burning a piece of paper right now.
For I don't know how many years, we had Dominics desert us both at Pratt and Kedzie and on Ridge. And last Thursday, from the day we're recording, I met with the president of Dominics, and fortunately I had made the old site on Ridge a planned development and had provided that it had to be used for grocery purposes. As a result, even though Dominics had tried to lease it or sell it for other purposes,
like a health club,
I stopped them time after time. Well, at our meeting on last week, Dominics indicated that they were returning.
Yay! That's only a 8-block walk from me rather than the one on Howard, which is quite a schlep.
Well, in any event, they are going to reconstruct the present site. As you know, they were fixing up the parking lot, and they're going to reconstruct the present site, and they are going to return, and they're going to fix it up, and they're going to reopen the Dominics store on Ridge.
That's fantastic. I'm really glad to hear it.
So it been a long battle, Mom, but we won. And
I think that's terrific. It really
I think it's good for the community, not only our area, but for East Rogers Park too, because really there's no place for them to shop. And I think what's happened now is that people realize how important that store was, I've also told him that I think he needs a little better management than they had in the store before, because I thought they had let that store go to pot for a long time.
They did. It was very poorly run.
And I had indicated that I certainly do everything in my power to have people come back and shop there, but he's got to do something about management at the store so that people will want to shop there. Needless to say, there's been a lot of change in the demographics in the surrounding area, and he's got to cater to the demographics. But that store will be successful if Dominics runs a good store.
Yeah, if they actually have, it's funny because it's not that far out of the Jewish neighborhood, but I couldn't find, like the Jewel had them beat like crazy on their kosher lineup, and not to mention they weren't necessarily catering to a lot of the people from various parts of Asia.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of Asian people with Asian backgrounds close there, and they've got to cater to their demographics.
Yeah, and it's not like you've got one group that wants a particular thing. I mean, you've got a number of different Asian groups.
Well, in any event, they've got to check their marketing and start working the neighborhood and helping the neighborhood. So in any event, they are going to reopen. It'll be hopefully within the next 6 months.
That'd be great.
And
are they going to enlarge it or use the same size store?
No, same size store. Frankly, I like small stores. I like the old store at Pratt and Kedzie, which was only 29,000 square feet, because I knew where every single item was.
Yeah, and I frankly don't need a lot of this stuff that they have in the superstores.
The Lincolnwood store, they have rearranged the Lincolnwood store, and they're rededicating it by the time this program goes on the air, it should be rededicated.
Right. Well, I do know that they had a really good sale on something, but it was on Saturday when I don't go shopping.
Well, the sales usually go for a week.
No, this is I got they put a thing on my doorknob.
Yeah.
You know, a special sale Saturday morning or whatever.
Well, I think they're going to have a special sale starting the week that this is going on.
Right.
In any event, that's good news for the community.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it also means employment for local people too.
Right. More jobs, which is always good, especially in this
we lost
economy.
some jobs because most of the people who worked there were local people, and it means that probably some local people are going to get back their jobs. So that's good news for the community.
Yeah. Anything going on with the parking garage at all?
Oh yeah, they're hard at work building. Our good friend is still screwing around with his appeals.
You're talking about architecture uber alles?
Yes, but in the meantime, the work is proceeding and on schedule.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the human factor myself.
And if you've gone down Western Avenue, you'd seen that the monsoon
Yeah, I did walk down there, as a matter of fact.
Plaza is under roof,
That's on Western Avenue, right by
at Rosemont, and it's completely enclosed, and that's moving ahead very well. And
so it'll weather the next monsoon we have here.
yeah. Well, you know, after that rain that we had when Hurricane Ike hit the Texas. We had that almost 7-inch rain.
We had about 7 inches of rain over here. It was unbelievable.
Yes, it was a bad rain, and
our friend Terry O'Brien said there was 101 billion gallons of rainwater that fell in the Chicagoland area.
It was very, very bad, and certainly those people in Albany Park felt it really bad. But in the meantime, that was almost the monsoon.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was one of the heaviest rains in Chicago history.
There's a zoning matter coming up. It should be right at the time this goes on the air that involves another Misericordia group home at Lunt on Lunt that people have been calling about, but that's what it is, a Misericordia change in zoning.
Between Western and California? Or?
Between Western and Ridge.
Oh, okay.
And it's on the corner, I think, of Lunt and Hamilton. Am I guessing right? I'm not sure.
I know they have one on Memphis, right next to Dick Devine's house.
Yes, and Dick is a volunteer in that one. That's on Pratt.
He's a big supporter of it, as a matter of fact.
Yes, he is.
Well, Misericordia runs their homes right.
Yes, they do.
Unlike some we might know that are very close to me.
And I'm trying to think of what else is cooking.
Let's see. We've got the economy. Anything with the park? So was there in terms of the parking rush? I'm just curious. Did he file? Talking about Greg Brewer, did he file another suit or an appeal or anything?
No, he's supposed to. I think he's got something like 30 days to file the appeal. I don't know. I don't pay attention anymore.
Matter of fact, Mike Moses was telling me that he thought that Mike Steele told him that he thought this was one of the biggest disasters that ever happened to Devon, was not having the parking for the businesses and for the residents there.
Well, it was delayed a good 6 to 8 months, but it's going ahead now, and that's all that counts. And we're figuring that the parking will be ready for next spring, so
that'll be good.
And that'll be good. So I look at the bright side, not the poor side, and we've got various. There's been a lot of changes as far as. We've done a lot. We've done a couple $1 million worth of electrical work in the ward with respect to new lighting.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I've been wanting to bring up during our last 3 interviews, and I never remember to do it. It's just not controversial enough. But I like those new streetlights, the double streetlights.
Yeah.
Now, if we don't have money for all this other stuff, where's this?
Out of my menu. I saved up my menu money from 2.5 years, and I did a good portion of the ward, about maybe 15 to 20% of the ward. And each year I'm going to be able to do about another 5 to 10%. I think Sonny's area is part of the area we're going to do next year. We did the most of the area between Kedzie and
California.
I think we went a little east of California.
Yeah, but not quite here. I think they're down Washtenaw here, but they're not by me yet.
No, we went from Peterson. We didn't get up to Pratt. We went Peterson and went a little north of Devon, but not. I don't think we went more than Arthur. Arthur, maybe Albany.
That sounds about right.
And
so let me ask you. You know, it was interesting because at that public.
But that was better than 2 years worth of menu money.
Now, at the public meeting, first of all, for those of you who don't know, Sonny and I in our spare time have been doing these live webcasts. We did, by the way, the first one we did was for that new community group that was Mike Moses, and you were on that also.
I'm intending to.
We've also done stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to say we also did stuff for the Illinois Mental Health Department, as well as the Department of Human Services, Department of Alcohol and Substance Abuse.
Well, we're intending, as soon as I'm able to, we're going to get my office wired for doing the.
You mean like with the high-speed internet stuff?
Yeah, the high-speed internet stuff, and we'll start doing it right from my office.
That'd be great. Just for
In fact,
those people.
I'll look for you guys to help me too.
No, we'll definitely be talking about that. Just so you guys, I want for those of you at home who don't know what we're talking about. If you go to our show website at ntnm.org, www.ntnm.org, we have links to this too. It's just really cool. With all the technology available on the internet, we basically took the setup we've got. We're filming in my dining room. Okay, this is background. This is the dining room table without the pads and without the tablecloth and all that, without all the good Shabbos stuff. So, but we took and this is more Sunny than me. We took the equipment, and we went over at that point to the Business Association office. We've also done it at Reed Mental Health Center, which was very nice of them to let us in. Once they met us, I'm surprised they let us out. And we also were at Harold Washington College for the Department of Human Resources, Department of Alcohol and Substance Abuse. And the really cool thing was that what we had, we plugged this directly in to a laptop that went through a high-speed internet connection. And I was watching it on a notebook. And when somebody said something, it was live on the internet 1 second later, uncut. Mm-hmm. It was really incredibly cool. And, of course, we archived this stuff, and you guys can watch this stuff through the website. Now, there was one of the reasons I'm alluding to it is there was a Jewish gentleman that I know and don't agree with on almost anything who was jumping up and down, who wouldn't even get in front of the microphone and be on camera, holding up a copy of the Chicago Journal, which is I think it leads the area for inaccuracies in a very small newspaper. But he was going, it's like, where's the menu money? After all, it says so-and-so in this paper and blah, blah, blah. And the guy was just, it's a shame he wasn't on camera because he really would have looked bad.
Well, it's interesting because the Chicago Journal had a statement after we had broadcast, and what it said is Berny Stone's the oldest member of the city council, but he had probably the most modern thing by going on the internet, broadcasting, being the first member to broadcast on the internet.
She said something nice about you?
Yes, she did. How about that? In any event, it's a novel thing, and I think it's a great thing, and we're gonna try and use it as much as we can. As a matter of fact, I intend to use that instead of using the written word. You
mean like the newsletters and
newsletter. we'll print up a limited amount of newsletters, but distribute it by hand as opposed to mailing it, because mailing is what costs so much money.
Very expensive, yeah.
But this way we'll be able to distribute our news by the internet and have a limited amount of printed material available for people to pick up.
And of course, Sonny and I could put it up on YouTube. I didn't even mention, but because the numbers are climbing so fast, I can't even keep track. But as we're filming, and this isn't going to air till like 2 weeks after we're filming it, earlier today we were just a couple of dozen short of 44,000. So that means already it goes so fast on a daily basis. We're over 44,000. But basically, I mean, it's almost, it could be 1,000 a week, it could be 1,500, almost 2,000 shows a week. We've got over 30,000 shows watched this year, and the numbers just keep climbing every week. They get higher and higher.
Oh, incidentally, I watched your show a couple weeks ago, and I wanted you to know that your introduction was by Marty, and I think Marty should probably be your replacement. I think Marty should be doing the interviews because I think he's smooth.
Marty is the smoothest of smooth. First of all, I would be looking so much better today if Marty had given me, he gave me the haircut. It just about 6 weeks ago.
I think he's missing the boat. I think he should be be doing interviews. My son does a program too, but my son's pretty good. But I think Marty tops both of you.
That very well could be, and I'll make sure Marty knows about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, because I think he's missing the boat. I think he should be a broadcaster.
Yeah, they call him Marty, bastard. We're going to talk about Marty Levinson, my barber, of course. And Marty's one of the great guys in the history of barbers, that's for sure. And by the way, the barbershop show we did with him is our second most watched show, next to the Deep Tunnel.
Now you know why, because Marty is smooth.
Yeah, Marty is smooth. Matter of fact, that show's got about, I think, 5,200 watches, and the Deep Tunnel's up over 13,000 at this point.
Yeah, well, everybody wants to see you underwater.
As a matter of fact, I can think of a large number of people that that want to have that happen. So let's see, we've got about 2 minutes left here. So what can we inform the people about in our final 2 minutes?
There was something else I wanted to bring out, and I just, it's just, when you get old, you have these memory lapses. I just passes me. I've already talked about the Midway sale. I'm not getting anywhere on my proposals to raise money for the city.
Well, you're talking about the extra. We had extra property in the art.
The mayor is in Russia, so I'm sure he's not worried about how Berny Stone wants to raise money for him, but he should be, because he's still $300 million off.
$320 million off,
and he shouldn't be firing people.
So, let me ask you this: there's a lot of things going on. So basically, the TIFs are the TIFs actually taking money away from what could have been in the budget? I mean, would that have been saved?
I don't believe so.
But you figure that's to be done under different circumstances.
The TIFs for local neighborhoods are good. TIFs for downtown, they can raise money in other ways. Yeah. But for neighborhoods like mine, how else would I build a school, which incidentally is going to be open in fall of 2010? How else would I build a school without the TIF money? That's why TIFs are good. For local neighborhood, TIFs are good. For downtown, they can find other ways to get money for downtown. But I need TIFs, because the TIF money goes into local improvements. And if I can't get the menu money, and one of the places they're going to cut next is our menus.
That's very well could be. At this point, though, I want to thank you very much.
Thank
Alderman
you.
Berny Stone, 50th Ward.
Thank you, Avi.
Thanks, Joe Chuck J. for bringing them. Thanks to my entire technical group, Sonny Hersh. Dial us up on the World Wide Web, www.ntnm.org. Community Policing Caps24.org. Jewish Chicago, available free throughout the free world, or at least actually it's available throughout the free world and the enslaved world on the web. But you've got to go to our website to find out where that is. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, Marty, and bye-bye.